Hello and welcome to the Band-in-a-Box 2013 for Mac tutorial video. In this video we're going to look at some of the great new features recently added to Band-in-a-Box for Mac, and along the way we're going to check out some of the fantastic new RealTracks in RealTracks sets 176 through 181, such as these amazing new horn section RealTracks. We'll also look at some of the new MIDI SuperTracks in sets 4 through 9, and we'll also listen to some of our new artist performance sets. For those of you who may be new to Band-in-a-Box though, we'll first start off with a quick explanation of what Band-in-a-Box is and what it can do. Band-in-a-Box is an intelligent, automatic accompaniment program. You can hear and play along to many song ideas and go from nothing to something in a very short period of time with Band-in-a-Box as your on-demand backup band. Just type in the chords for any song using standard chord symbols like G minor 7, C7, or B flat major 7. Choose the style you'd like, set the tempo, and Band-in-a-Box does the rest. Band-in-a-Box automatically generates a complete professional quality arrangement which can include piano, bass, drums, guitar, strings, and more in a wide variety of styles. And that's exactly what we're listening to right now. This song was created simply by typing in these chords, picking this jazz funk with horn section style, setting the tempo, and pressing play. And that goes for everything you're hearing, including this new killer horn section. And this style is a real style, which means that all the instruments you are hearing are real tracks, actual performances by real top studio musicians, and they can play any chord progression you enter. With Band-in-a-Box 2013, we've added the Pick Best Soloist RealTracks feature. This is a new menu option when you press the Soloist button. Add Best RealTracks Soloist to Soloist Track. This new dialog shows you the soloists that best match the genre, tempo, and feel of your song, listed from best matches to worst matches. So, for example, our song is a 16th based song, with our tempo set to 110 beats per minute, so at the very top of the list it's put these soloists: electric piano, alto sax, etc. As you go down the list, the soloists don't match as well. For example, these are swing eighths soloists, which don't match the groove of our current song. If our song was swing eighths, these would be at the top of the list. You can also choose whether you want chording, background soloists, or just straight ahead soloists to display in the list. You can also filter the list, so if I only want to see saxophones, that's easy to do. And I'll pick this alto sax soloist performed by Eric Marienthal. And now we have him wailing over this great band and horn section. Just to stress the point that everything you are hearing was generated by Band-in-a-Box, I'll type in some completely different chords here. I'll change bar 1 to B flat major 7, A minor 7 flat 5 at bar 3, D7 at bar 4, G minor 7 at bar 5, and A flat 7 at bar 7. I'll completely change the key to the key of E, and when I press play, we can see that it's playing this completely different progression, including the soloist we picked with the Best Soloist feature. There are similar options on the instrument radio buttons to choose Best All RealTracks that will show all RealTracks sorted by best to worst for the current style, and Best Chording RealTracks. There are also new lists of favorite RealTracks and RealDrums. These are recently used RealTracks and RealDrums which appear in these menus, as well as in the RealTracks picker, the RealDrums picker, or in any of the Choose Best dialogues. Band-in-a-Box 2013 introduces SoundCloud integration. This lets you upload your own original compositions easily to the SoundCloud.com service. SoundCloud.com is a popular web service that lets users upload their original songs for others to hear. You can access the SoundCloud features in Band-in-a-Box by pressing the Audio button. Your song will get uploaded in the audio format that you choose, and I'll pick M4A. If you don't have a SoundCloud account, you can sign up for one here, or you can just log into your own account. Then you upload the song, and now you have a link to share it with all your friends. Here's a style that uses both MIDI SuperTracks, piano and strings, new in MIDI SuperTracks Set 4, along with this new finger-picking Celtic Air acoustic guitar style from RealTracks Set 173. MIDI SuperTracks are an exciting new addition to Band-in-a-Box. Instead of MIDI styles based on C7 chord patterns that get repeated over every chord, the MIDI SuperTracks are based on actual playing by studio musicians. In this way, they're more like RealTracks than the old Band-in-a-Box MIDI styles. But because they're MIDI, you have complete control over them, both in being able to pick different synths and patches, and also in that you can edit individual notes. IK Multimedia's Sample Tank is now included with Band-in-a-Box, along with high-quality PG Music sounds. This gives you an alternative for MIDI playback rather than using the built-in Mac sounds. I'm using Core MIDI to channel these two MIDI SuperTracks to Sample Tank, where you can see I'm using these high-quality Band-in-a-Box sounds. Acoustic Grand Piano PG, and Chamber Strings PG. There's a video at our website demonstrating how to get software synths such as Sample Tank set up with Band-in-a-Box at www.pgmusic.com/videos.bbmac.html. Another new feature is the ability to copy tracks to any other tracks. For example, say I want to duplicate the strings track so I can double it with another sound. I can go to Edit, Copy Move Tracks. The source track will be strings, and I'll copy that track to the bass track. First, it automatically freezes this track, so the material we moved there will be safe and it won't regenerate. And we have exactly the same material on the bass track as on the strings track. So as we saw, the strings track used the chamber strings high-quality sound. So if we want a really lush strings part, we can use a different high-quality sound on this new track. The bass track sends on channel 2, so I'll add Movie Strings PG to channel 2 in Sample Tank. And now we get even more full-sounding strings parts. Artist Performance Tracks is a new feature with Band-in-a-Box 2013, which for the first time allows you to have your own audio tracks, either AIFF or M4A, play on any track in Band-in-a-Box. To get the feature to work, simply name the audio file the same as the Band-in-a-Box song, but with space and then the name of the track after it. So for example, if I had mysong.sgu, then mysong-piano.m4a would play on the piano track. Or mysong-soloist.aiff would play on the soloist track. We've also included artist performance sets, with performances by top studio musicians playing on the melody track. And we're listening to one of these right now. These are great just for listening or for learning from the pros, since notation, and tab for guitars, shows for the performances. With Band-in-a-Box 2013, there are over 60 artist performances. 20 guitar performances by Oliver Gannon, 20 sax, clarinet, and flute performances by Jack Stafford, and 26 Celtic fiddle tunes, performances by champion fiddler Daniel Lapp. Set 1 features traditional jazz and bossa with saxes, flutes, and guitars, and we're listening to one of these right now, an alto sax. These performances play a melody, then 2 choruses of soloing, with the first chorus simpler and the second more advanced. It then ends with the melody played again, so what you get is a complete performance like you'd hear in a jazz club. Incidentally, there are many handy new buttons on the main screen, including this one to visually transpose for non-concert instruments. For example, this is an alto sax we're listening to, and we're in concert C, but we can quickly switch to viewing for alto sax. And everything is now transposed visually to A. So if you're playing alto sax along with this, the notation is correct for you. Another recently added feature is the lead sheet window. As you can see, as you change the size, the notation font changes to always fit within the screen. Set 2 features smooth jazz, Dixieland, and gypsy jazz. And here's an electric guitar performance of a smooth jazz tune. You can see the tab here, making it an excellent learning tool. You could also view it in the on-screen guitar fretboard, and of course, you can slow these artist performances down the same way you can with RealTracks. So I'll bring the tempo down where it might be easier to learn for a beginner. Set 3 features 26 Celtic fiddle tunes performed by champion fiddler Daniel Lapp. This is the Banks of Ireland reel, backed up by acoustic bass, guitar, Boran hand drums, and new with Band-in-a-Box 2013, bouzouki. There's also an option to save track as performance file. This takes freezing a track one step further and saves the audio itself in a separate file. For example, I'll try this with the bouzouki track. The track is now orange, indicating that it is now an artist performance track. And if we look in the Finder, we can see that this bouzouki is now an external audio file, and that is what is now played in Band-in-a-Box. And you can also now listen to that on its own as well. Another very exciting recently added feature allows you to send Band-in-a-Box songs to your iPhone, iPad, iPod, or Android. You can do this on an individual song-by-song basis, or you can do a whole folder's worth of songs. For example, say I want to get all of these great fiddle tunes from Artist Performance Set 3 onto my iPhone. I can go to the Audio button and press Batch Save M4A for all songs in current folder for use on iPhone, iPad, Android, Band-in-a-Box app. This takes all of the Band-in-a-Box songs in the folder and makes M4A files out of them, making sure that the naming convention is correct to allow it to work on the iPhone. Once this is done, you can open the folder and take all the M4A files you made, the ones with space render after the name, and all of the actual Band-in-a-Box files too, and compress them to an archive. Then, as long as your Mac and your mobile device are on the same Wi-Fi network, you can get the archive on your device, and all the songs are now available to you. And I'll try playing The Boys of Blue Hill. More new features include enhancements to the drop station. The drop station is the drop button at the top left of the screen where you drop a track after dragging it to get an audio or MIDI version of the track made. And as an example, I'll drag the bass track to the drop station. When it's ready, it turns green, and there is now a control-click menu allowing you to copy the resulting file to a favorite folder, open the favorite folder, start or stop the DAW plugin mode, upload to soundcloud.com, and save to a Dropbox folder. If you use the Dropbox service, you can easily save audio to Dropbox without leaving the main Band-in-a-Box screen. And I'll do that now. And there's also a menu option to open that folder. And we can see the files, and also see that they now have better names than in previous versions, listing the full name of the RealTracks style. Here, bass, acoustic, Celtic Real, even 16, 110. The popular Band button is enhanced, with many more styles and categories listed, including submenus for subcategories. These include subgenres of jazz, such as jazz swing, bossa and Latin, Cuban, smooth jazz, and gypsy jazz. A campfire guitar subgenre has been added, with many real styles of simple strumming guitars or small acoustic combos that you might see gathered around a campfire, such as 2 acoustic guitars and an upright bass. Also, a bluegrass 8th note based style has been added. Our bluegrass styles are typically 16th note based, so that a typical bluegrass tempo would be 130. Some people prefer the bluegrass styles to be 8th note based, with tempos around 260. We have made a bgband8.sty that has 8th note based RealTracks. I'll pick that, and then I'll load the demo so you can see it in action. The instruments all play exactly the same way in the 8th based or 16th based styles, but they're just treated differently in relation to the chord chart and notation screen. The song form maker allows you to define sections of a song, A, B, C, etc., and then rearrange the song by simply typing the form you want. For example, AAB, AB, CA. You can revisit the dialog to change the form at any time. You should note that the sections you define for your song are completely independent of the A and B part markers in Band-in-a-Box. For example, I have a song loaded here with 3 distinct 8-bar progressions, which could be considered 3 sections of the song. Say a verse, chorus, and a bridge. If I go into the song form dialog, I can then start designating my sections. Section A will be bar 1 and will last for 8 bars. B will be bar 9 and will last 8 bars. And C will be bar 17 and will last 8 bars. And you can see as I add those, the chords for that section appears here, giving me a good overview of what the sections will be. I can now put in the song form I want. I'll make this AAB AAC and press Generate Form. And we can see that in less than a second we have our new song form. A, B, A, C. And I'll play a little bit of that. And if I re-enter that dialog, we can see that it's kept the correct sections for A, B, and C to match our original. And we can change the form as much as we like. For example, A, B, C, A, C, C. Another recent feature is that pressing the audio button shows a menu that allows you to quickly save the song as AIFF or M4A. This has options for saving audio as well as sending to SoundCloud. Every style has a web demo available. You can click on the web demo button in the style picker to hear the demo. And I'll do that for this bolero with horn section. Now, if you'd like to have the link to the demo for use in your browser, etc., you can shift-click on the web demo button. This copies the URL link to the clipboard, and you can then paste it into your browser or email or whatever. This is a great way of letting your friends know about the great new RealTracks in Band-in-a-Box 2013. When entering chords on the chord sheet, there are now shortcuts available for entering rests over a range of bars. Instead of typing a new chord, if you type H followed by a number, it will take the rests and holds in your current bar and apply them over that number of bars. So, for example, there's a period B, D, S at bar 1. The period means hold, and the B, D, S means that bass, drums, and strings tracks should ignore the hold. So basically it means piano and guitar tracks should hold. If I type H4, those holds have now been copied over these 4 bars. If you just type H by itself, it copies those shots and holds over all bars until the next part marker. So I'll try that now instead. If there's not already a shot hold designation for a bar, there's still an easy way to get the same results quickly, simply by typing in a number at the end of the string when entering the chord. So, for example, there's nothing currently at bar 9. So I'll type in the same chord, F sharp minor, and I'll enter the holds here, maybe dot B, D, S, G. So only the piano will hold this time. I'll then type 8 at the very end. So it entered the new shots and holds for bar 9 and also applied those to the following 8 bars. Let's check out how that sounds. also note that some bars have red squares drawn around them, which means there are specific settings applied to those bars. I'll use the handy new bar settings button to view one of these bars. There's an F5 on the button because that's also the keyboard shortcut. We can see there's a real drums change set at this bar. Now there's a handy new way to see a complete summary of all bars that have settings like this by pressing Print Summary. This opens a text report with all the bar changes in the song. And we can see that this song contains volume changes at 2 places in the song and real drums changes in 4 places. This summary can also be accessed from the song memo dialog. By request, a Jazz Swing RealTracks has been created that plays the simplest bass lines for jazz swing with half notes, often root and fifth, in the A section and quarter notes only in the B section. These are the styles here, with variations that play half notes at A, quarter notes at B, and then variations with only half throughout or only quarter notes throughout. In addition to that, many more RealTracks have the simpler option available. If there's an S in this column in the RealTracks picker, that style has a simpler option. Simpler can mean less busy for some styles, or for others it can mean less complex voicings and fewer chord extensions. To group together the styles with simple options, click on the column to sort by that column. And we can see that all these styles and more have simple options. And to use the simple variation, just put a check in this checkbox. There are also many more styles that now have a DI option as well. These are versions of many of our guitar, bass, and pedal steel RealTracks that were simultaneously recording the direct input of the instrument as well as the amp. The RealTracks previously played as recorded through the amp, which is a recording of the tone that the artist set up for the instrument, which is a great thing in itself. But with the DI options, you can create your own sound by using your own effects, including IK Multimedia's Amplitude, which is included with Band-in-a-Box. In the same way as the simple styles, you can sort by this column to group together all of the RealTracks with DI options available. And to use the DI option, simply put a check in this checkbox. There is an enhancement to the RealTracks dialog that lets you audition different RealTracks styles quicker than before. I've currently got the new horn section RealTracks style selected, and these 2 buttons let you listen to a short clip of the selected style, either by itself or in a band setting. In the past, it would open the audition clip in iTunes, which often takes a long time to start up, but now it instead opens them in QuickTime, which is much faster. So if I press Audition, I can instantly hear the horn section with no waiting. And if I press the plus button, we hear the same thing with the band added. And you can listen to as many as you like. Band-in-a-Box 2013 for Mac has added an option for RealTracks and Real Drums to preserve the original levels of the audio and not reduce it to match the lower levels of MIDI tracks. This is useful while rendering and transferring files to a digital audio workstation. You do this here in the RealTracks settings and deselect Reduce Volume of RealTracks to match MIDI. This can also be used in combination with the new Flat, Dry, and Center menu option added to the combo radio button menu. This sets the song to flat, all volumes set to 90, which is the level where the mixer doesn't alter the volume levels at all. The reverb level for all instruments is set to 0, or dry, and all panning is set to 0, or center, hence flat, dry, and center. Now, if both of these things are done, then there will be no alteration to the original audio files for the RealTracks and RealDrums, which is optimal for importing into other digital audio workstations. The song file, when played in Band-in-a-Box, will not sound balanced mix-wise, but it gives you the most control over the sound when exporting to other DAWs. There are many handy new buttons added to the various Band-in-a-Box 2013 toolbars. These include the non-concert transpose button we looked at earlier, which shows a menu to quickly transpose to and from concert to other instruments like alto sax, tenor, trumpet, etc. The Song Form button, which launches the Song Form Maker dialog. The F5 bar settings button that we also looked at earlier, which launches the F5 bar settings dialog. And the Woodshed Tempo button, which launches the dialog to set woodshed tempo, which increases tempo with every loop of playback, which is a great tool for practicing. Thank you very much for joining us for this Band-in-a-Box 2013 for Mac video tutorial, and we hope you enjoy all the exciting new features, new RealTracks, MIDI SuperTracks, and artist performance sets. Have fun!